In your opinion, do you believe a cheater is always a cheater? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Amy and I'm a love coach, and today I thought I'd bring my husband on so that we can talk from a married man's perspective. We've been together 10 years, we've been married 7 years, and he's one of my favorite humans in the whole wide world. So, today's topic, I want to talk about how do you trust your partner won't cheat on you? So first thing I want to talk about is how maybe in the past, your past experiences, like what's happened with you. So for me, my first relationship was absolutely terrible. He was an alcoholic and I was cheated on multiple times. It was like a Jerry Springer ending. So I can definitely attest on my end that it was not salvageable. At that point, it was not going back. What is your experience on, cheating, and what is your viewpoint on that, babe?
Well, in my past, I've had ups and downs in relationships as well. With cheating, it's kind of a hard thing. Like one of my exes, we worked in different industries, and she wasn't comfortable with what I did. Like I bartended, she did other things, and more of the daytime life. I was in the nighttime life, and she had a hard time trusting because she thought that everybody's always trying to hit on you and do things like that, and that's not the reality of it, and we all know that. But you got to have the trust in someone's relationship, and I don't think she had that or maybe be comfortable in her own skin as I was, and that led her to go back to someone that she had in her past that maybe was more comfortable. So yeah, I've had my fair share of it as well. So
what I want to pinpoint here is that him and I have both experienced being cheated on. So this is something that we can very much resonate with, and that's why I wanted to share it with you guys, kind of like what our take is on when it comes to cheating. So babe, why do you think in your opinion men cheat?
So men, maybe it's similarities just with a different twist with men and women. Maybe they're not feeling appreciated in the relationship, or they feel that they're putting in hard work and come home and they're not being appreciated by their wife or loved or their needs fulfilled, so they might get the attention that they wanted or felt that they needed from someone else that just happens to be in the spur of the moment, and so they drift. Everybody is different, but for the most part, maybe it's the needs that fulfilled or wanted that's specific to them. But that's what I would think.
Well, so as a woman, I think I've said this in the past, and I think sometimes women cheat more with their heart. So, but I don't know, I'm not a guy, so do you think that if a man is being withheld like his physical needs, is it easier for him to go find that somewhere else? And that's where sometimes they're like, oh, it was one time, like it's never going to happen again. Like, is that do you think that's like a thing for men?
Yes, it's more in the spur of the moment, maybe, like you said, maybe not being appreciated. Like it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's more or less like just the acknowledgement. And sometimes they're like, okay, well, this person gave it to me and it is the heat of the moment, so they go that route. And obviously it's going to be instant regret. But like I said, each person is different, so their needs are going to be all over the place.
Obviously, everybody has different guidelines, values. We all have our different non-negotiables, things that we don't tolerate. In your opinion, do you believe a cheater is always a cheater?
So this has always been a hard question for me, because as much as you love someone and you want to give them a second chance, for me personally, I do believe if you do it once, the next time will just be that much easier. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, but in my heart, I know I'm not going to forgive you. And I personally hold on to things, and that's hard for me. So yeah, I would think that they're going to be a cheater.
So I want to highlight that for my husband and I would say our non-negotiable is cheating.
For sure.
We don't where that's not tolerable for either of us. I think it's really hard to come back from that. But not to say that it's not for everybody. Like some people, when they really, really put their heart on it and they set their heart to it, that they can make it work. But it's definitely a two-way street. that they have to agree that they can't throw that in their face again to each other. And I think therapy probably would be really helpful in these kinds of scenarios if you're really wanting to make it work. Coming back to me in your relationship, how do you trust me that I won't cheat? Like, what are some things that I do that reassures you that I won't?
Well, I mean, like we've talked about before, everybody has their things that, matter to them, their love meter or what matters. And for you, you check those things off. Mine's physical touch, mine's reassurance, showing that I do matter, right? And you do that very well. And, love and trust, it's kind of like blind faith you have in someone, but the connection you have with someone helps that out. And so for me, I feel that the things that matter to me, you reassure and you prove to me day in and day out. So for me, I just completely trust you.
Sometimes I think because we've experienced, like for me and you, we have, experienced being cheated on, and it's a shitty feeling. But in some people, it really just tears them apart and it's hard for them to love again.
Yes.
And now they think that it's just going to keep happening. And it sucks to be vulnerable and trust somebody and then being betrayed, right?
Absolutely.
So I think this is a really great point that I want to highlight for us as a couple, that we have experienced those things, but we are 100% very committed to each other, and that I know, like, I never feel like I have to ever worry about Jason because I always know what he's doing, to be quite honest. Not like I'm having a tab on him, but Jason's pretty predictable. So, and that's what I also love about him, is that there's like never this moment of like unsureness. Like, he's always really great at reassuring me that he loves me. He fills all of my meter as far as always telling me all the things that I want to hear, that I'm beautiful, all the nice loving things that Babes does for me. But I think those all go hand in hand. Like, if you've ever been cheated on, let me know in the comments if you can kind of tell something's going on. Like, something's up. Like, you kind of know, like, even like there's no proof, but a part of you is like, or like after you break up, like you kind of know, like, oh, that day was, they were cheating on me,
And in my history too, like, and everybody's, like I said, going to be different, but I feel like a lot of the times the people that are always attacking you and questioning you are just because they're doing it themselves. Mm-hmm. So they feel that their significant other is doing it as well.
Right.
And they want to be the one to catch them so they don't feel bad. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but that's how I felt. And that's in my history.
Like, it's for them, it's like, I'm doing it, so why wouldn't they do it to me?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely, I think that definitely nailed it on I think that was very accurate. Is what I'm
Hit the nail on the head.
Yes, that's what it was. I was like, what is that word? You always know what I'm trying to say, babe?
Sometimes.
At the end of the day, in order to be 100% comfortable and feel secure in the relationship is a really big one. If you're not feeling secure with each other, it's easy to think of all these crazy thoughts, right?
I mean, you are your worst enemy, right? You're going to think the worst no matter what. It's like going to bed at night and you turn the light off in the hallway. You feel like, oh man, I don't know what's there, even though you just saw that there was nothing there. And that's kind of, in a relationship, it's the same way. Like, don't ever, turn off the lights and think the worst, always think positive.
Can you give like an advice as a married man, like for all the women viewers out there? And also for the men too, actually, this is a really great advice for men out there who are in a relationship. Like, what can you do to reassure your lady that to feel secure in a relationship? What are some tips for you that you want to tell them?
So for me, I always treat everything like, a double-edged sword, right? If on one side there's going to be something and the other, it's your fault. So if you want to be treated a certain way, why wouldn't you treat your significant other the other way? If you want to be trusted, why couldn't you trust your girlfriend or your wife or, whoever? It's just that listen to the small things. Listen to, if she tells you, I love flowers, get her flowers randomly. If, she just wants to be heard, sit down and listen. Don't say anything. Like, it's the small things that matter because the small things add up. So just remember, don't skip the small things.
I love that, babe. I do have a free PDF. It is called 4 Simple Steps to Strengthen Your Relationship. I will leave that link in my description box below. And as always, if you like content like this, please hit the like button and please subscribe. I put out a video every Tuesday at 9 a.m. And if you have made it this far, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week.